Almost got it in under the buzzer there.
Go.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen of Hashtag Nation, to another Buffalo Bills post game. Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs. As always, you guys can follow all of our socials: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Show is sponsored by Mr. Rogers Homes. Link is in the description. He also has a YouTube. You can go visit. Please go and visit him if you want to find out about some real estate in the Arizona area. Paul, Ryan, how you guys doing? Before we get on any specifics, all right. Number one, we want to thank the Rock Pile Report for their wonderful spread and their tailgating abilities and inviting us to their tailgate. Number one. Number two, we got to meet another broadcaster, another content creator, and Joe Miller. That was a great meeting him and talking some Bill stuff with him. But all due to the fact that thank you for Ryan for offering tickets to, Paul and myself, so we can actually go to our yearly game. Got to meet and talk with a lot of great people, so it was a lot of fun. And got to see the game from a different perspective. So you're going to get a little bit of a slant on the post game for tonight, guys. I never got out of my seat. I didn't even care if it was a good play or not. It doesn't matter. But
yeah, you don't have to front row seats, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's good, so initial thoughts, Paul, hit me with it.
What a terrifying game that was.
It's worse in person, aren't they, Paul? They're worse.
Yeah, it's significantly worse in person. I do want to just call out the pure optimism when Michael Hoyt went down, and we're like, oh, it must be a cramp. It must be a cramp. We did not have the replay. Yeah, we did not have the replay of his Achilles rippling through his calf on the snap. So we did not know. Kudos to him for not coming and going to the locker room. He sat on the bench the whole time, which, again, I think only propelled our theory that it was just a calf.
Until the just came out.
Yeah. But, I mean, overall, was it an exciting game? It was. Should it have been an exciting game? I mean, it's Bills-Chiefs. Were there a lot of things that I'm happy about? I mean, Josh threw 3 incompletions, and one of them was intentional. Like, how much more could you really complain? But a little tight at the end there. Home run third down conversions scare the hell out of me, right? Because those are what kept Kansas City in the game. Probably put a little bit of a different paint job was the fact that if it was third and long, they hit it, or that's what it seemed like. So super fun to see it in person. Paul is not a cold weather football guy, so you got me to November football. Congratulations, Ryan. That in itself is a feat. Paul outside November football. I'm not built for that kind of football watching.
Ryan, what's your initial thoughts on it?
I mean, it's a good win, right? Like, it's a win as things start to pile up. You start to look at things like tiebreaker scenarios, right? Strength of victory. And as the Ravens continue to win, and they'll continue to win, as the Chiefs continue to win, right? Like, these wins look really good. You've beaten, up until this point, aside from Baltimore, you've beaten tomato cans. So the goal is, like, you have to beat good football teams at a certain point throughout the season, and the Bills took care of business. And anytime that your quarterback has as many touchdowns as he has incomplete passes, that's a good game from your quarterback, right? Like, that's a really solid game from your quarterback. James Cook, like, they didn't go away from him. They stuck with him throughout the game, despite only averaging 4.5 yards a carry through the bulk of that game. They stuck with him, and that's something that we've talked about in this show, is like, why do they go away from him, right? And then the big thing for me, really 2 things defensively. They generated pressure. They didn't have to blitz a lot to generate that pressure. That's always been the key to Mahomes, right? Is just, like, disrupt him, get around his feet, like, kind of make things uncomfortable for him, but keep him contained. And then I think the biggest story, defensively at least, for me, was the Cole Bishop. Like, this was the Cole Bishop game. And
big time.
You're going to have Cole Bishop playing safety, and both in the box and in coverage safety, the way Cole Bishop played, like, that changes the way McDermott can run his defense. And we've seen what he can do with a young Jordan Poyer and a young Micah Hyde. And, like, if you've got one of those guys and you can cobble the rest together next to him, which they tried to do with Cam Lewis. Like, Cam Lewis played every single defensive snap. So they were in nickel and dime the entire game for the most part. And the versatility that Cam Lewis gave you, like, if you got one stud safety, and that's what Cole Bishop played with, like, last night, you can figure out the rest. Like McDermott's good enough to figure out the other safety position as long as he's got like an anchor on one side, right? So like I think that's a big step going forward for this team is can Cole Bishop continue to improve, continue to play really good football, and I think that might be the key to this defense kind of coming into its own and being a force that can help out this offense to win football games.
Yeah, we talked about it last week, and we kind of threw our hands up in the air about what if Shaq Thompson's injured at all with what's going on with this team, and then he was injured, he wasn't even playing the game. We're a little bit worried about that. I'm still kind of worried about that, but you look at, I mean, Bernard to me, he's not even in form. I mean, obviously he's just starting a linebacker, trying to get everything going in there. How many times did we see the Bills defense break the huddle and Kansas City was already on the line ready to go? And it was disturbing at the amount of miscommunication, because when you're at the gate, you could see everything. You see everything that goes in there, and guys are yelling at each other. Didn't Bernard slap 72 down the line during the one play and said, "Get down there. You're supposed to be down there."
That's right. Yeah, he pushed him right down the line.
And that's just,
it was great to see that fire, right, from Bernard. Like, great to see that.
It's really weird to see that lack of communication in a guy that's supposed to be your defensive head coach, and has a guy who basically was raised underneath McDermott throughout his coaching career. And there's still miscommunications that are going on with some of these guys. And it's very disturbing to see that, because they beat a Chiefs team that is not the Chiefs team of the old years, guys. Like, I don't think the Chiefs are very good. And they beat them. And they beat them at home. And they knocked Mahomes around. But there were guys that were open all day. You know what I mean? It's a weird stat that I found while researching for the game, guys. This is the first game that Mahomes had less than 5 carries this year. I mean, his running ability is something that kind of gets overlooked, in his ability to scramble and get out of trouble. He had 1 carry for 5 yards yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's just weird, because he was completely off of his game. I don't know why. But I mean, there were guys that were open.
Buffalo pressured on average 15% more than they have all season. Like they blitzed, they pressured him and blitzed him almost 50% of the time, right? And for McDermott, that is a little bit of a change. But also, this is the first time we've seen them run primarily 2 linebackers most of the game. Like, they've been a 3 linebacker team for most of the season, but you have the ghost of Matt Milano out there who can't give a high five with his left arm. Like, he played the whole game with his left arm basically tied at his side. Like, congrats to Matt Milano for that. It was nice to see him go in and step in a hole and kind of free some things up. It does make you wonder, with as good as Cole Bishop was, is that because Milano pulled so much time? Like, he played more snaps than I kind of thought he would. Like, but it was a constant, it was a constant tango. Like, you looked out there and we're seeing like Ingram's getting snaps. We're seeing, we're seeing a lot of guys in rotation on that defense get snaps. And that can be nerve wracking, especially in a game that felt like it could get away from you at any second. But kudos to the Bills. I mean, they put up the first 100-yard rusher on that Chiefs defense since 2023.
Is that the first one?
Wow. First 100-yard rusher since 2023.
Yeah, they I mean, when you have Allen has 26 attempts and Cook has 27 carries. I mean, you want to talk about balance. I mean, but this is literally what the Bills have done, is they've equipped their team to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, because they've been the class of the AFC. And you could see, you drafted Cole Bishop to neutralize Kelsey. He had 4 for 66. He never got in the end zone. By the way, guys, first time in Mahomes' career against Buffalo, he hasn't scored a passing or rushing touchdown. That was actually pretty impressive. And then why'd you get Max Hairston to run with Worthy? Which you didn't have to if you drafted Worthy, but we're not going to get into that tonight.
that play was super impressive, though, right?
That was being able to keep.
We saw it in real time. And from the seats that I have, like, it's basically like watching the All-22, and that was impressive as hell.
Yeah, it's track speed versus game speed.
If you go and watch that play back, and I did that today just because I was curious, it looked like Worthy actually had a step on him, and Hairston made that ground up and then went stride for stride with him. And that's impressive as hell for a guy that's as fast as Worthy is. You get a step on him. Most guys, if that would have been Trey White,
Gone.
Yeah,
Gone.
that's a long
Oh, yeah.
touchdown. That's easy pitch and catch at that point. So
I mean,
you know,
we
and
saw
I,
Hollywood Brown burn Benford
he beat Benford
several
bad off the line.
times.
Yeah, he beat
Several
Benford
times.
bad off the line. And
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I think this is I don't know that I want to necessarily call the Chiefs like a bad football team or an average football team, right? Like this is what the NFL is these days. Like let's not forget, like for the last 3 weeks, everyone's been calling Kansas City a wagon. Like they got Worthy was healthy, they got Rice back, and they looked like an absolute unit. And the fact that then they come into Buffalo and there had been questions about Buffalo, right? Because up until that New England game, Buffalo was a wagon, right? And they were beating everybody. They were scoring 30 points a game. They were, beating everybody. And all of a sudden they lose 2, and now it's like, well, the Bills will even make the playoffs. And then they come back and they beat Kansas City. And suddenly Drake May is the second most hit quarterback in the NFL. And like, how long is that before that adds up, right? So like, this is all like ebb and flow of the NFL these days.
Well, Ryan, what did you say? You said Bills were beating tomato cans. The Chiefs beat the Raiders and Commanders out of those two out of those three.
But all you can do is beat the teams in front of you.
That's
right?
true.
And it's worth questioning how good you are. One of those teams that they beat was the Lions. Like the Bills, one of the teams that they beat was the Ravens, right? That Ravens game doesn't look great up until last week, or this week rather. Now that Lamar's back, like Baltimore's going to win that division, right? So you're going to have a divisional winner on your books that you've beaten, a team that you might see in the playoffs, and you're going to have the Kansas City Chiefs, which for the last 6 seasons have been to the Super Bowl, whatever they look like this year, right?
Yeah.
To beat the AFC champs. You gotta kill them, and the first step to that was knock them to 5-4, make them fight to get into the playoffs, and hope that someone else catches them in the wild card round, and you don't need to worry about them. But I just think like I still come off, if I'm looking at these two football teams, the Buffalo Bills won, I still have more questions about the Bills than I do about the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will be there at the end of the season. I just think they're too well coached. They've got too much talent. They're too good offensively. And at the end of the day, I give the advantage to the quarterback, and that's Patrick Mahomes in every game in the NFL other than the one against Josh Allen. Like, I will take Patrick Mahomes against any quarterback in the NFL not named Josh Allen. And at the end of the day, like, they don't play... what's the risk? They may win that division, even though they're 5-4 and 2 games back. Like they still have to play the Broncos twice. They still get another shot at the Chargers with Rashee Rice, and they still may win the division. And they could win it at 10-7 in that division, right? Like, whereas Buffalo's probably going to be in a dogfight with New England for the rest of the year. So I still have more questions about Buffalo than I do about Kansas City, even though Buffalo won that game, and I felt like won it relatively handily.
Well, and kudos to, the Bills for, finding a gap right away and just not being afraid to just exploit it till it got stopped, because they ran that trap run play like 8 times. And it listen, 3-4 yards a time is fine, right? Like against a good football team, you take 4 yards a carry. And, for a lot of the game, James Cook just ground out and it was 4 yards. It was a legitimate 4 yards a carry. He really didn't get stopped at the line all but 3 times all game. He ran for 0 to 1 negative play, right? Like, the fact of the matter is, like, the running game worked and you weren't afraid to just keep going at it. With that being said, Dalton Kincaid, banner game from him, over 100 yards receiving. Again, not something the Chiefs typically give up. It's a 100-yard game from a tight end. Typically, they're the ones doling that one out. So, like, big kudos to the Bills offense for figuring it out. But the fact of the matter is this offense ran through 3 players, Josh, James, and Dalton Kincaid. And I think, to Ryan, to your point, right, you're walking into, the rest of your season. Can you continue to win with just those players contributing? Because that's what you got right now. Those are your contributors moving forward. And is that enough?
Kincaid only played 23 snaps last night.
Right.
He only played 23 snaps. He was outsnapped both by Hawes and by Knox.
Well, because they were looking to run the ball, right? Like,
sure.
The fact of the matter is that is just true. But I will say that we've seen the play action game all but disappear, right? So, like, that over the last couple of weeks, that's what I've noticed.
Which is weird because you think it would get better.
Yeah.
You think it would get better. So
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I think though, they're, from a situational perspective, like when they're calling play action, like they're using it really well. Like they ran that just off that
The boot?
counter, yeah, off that counter
Yeah.
play. They ran that boot for a first down twice, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's. I think the question. I don't know that any of the questions we had offensively were answered yesterday. I
Mhm.
think they stuck with Cook, and everything else was about the same. The only difference was Josh was just dialed in. Like he talked about that in the post game press conference, right? Like he called it slotted, where he was
Mhm.
just feeling it. And you know, when that's the case, like you're not missing wide open guys. You're not, you know, you're just kind
Yeah.
of taking what comes to you. You're not forcing anything, and like that made things a little bit easier for him. But I don't
Shavers
think
could have scored. Shavers could have
Shavers could have
scored.
scored. Yeah, but I mean, I don't, you know, I don't, you know, let's see it week after week. Like
Yeah.
let's see Brady do this consistently, and
Mhm.
then we'll talk. But I think the encouraging thing I think is defensively. Like now that McDermott seems to be involved in the play calling a little bit more and involved in the like the down and distance and every down type of thing, it seems like the defense is finding its stride.
Well,
I don't know how
finding
much of
its
that
stride.
was Hoyt, but you know,
Yeah, I'm finding its stride. Ryan and Mario, let's be honest, right? You just injected Hairston and Hoyt into this defense and things instantly changed,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Like
Well,
instantly.
the
And let's
guys
not forget,
you had
this
planned on
probably
having
was
in this
the
defense, right?
well,
Like,
and this was also probably the best game of Joey Bosa in a Bills uniform. Like
Yeah.
he was
yeah,
he was
for
putting
sure,
pressure on
for sure.
all game. So this was a hallmark game for a lot of guys on the Bills defense. But the fact of the matter is, you got a big injection of Hoyt, Hairston, and last night Bosa. But you can't obviously depend on that. It looks like Hairston's the real deal from what you've seen through 60 snaps at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like the kid can run and the kid can play.
Mhm.
So I think they've learned from their Kyer Elam mistake, right? I think the big lesson there, right? But the unfortunately you lose Hoyt, and that's a big blow
Oh yeah.
because that defense really changed when he came in.
Yeah, because he
Like
brings you that flexibility, like we talked about it on last
Yeah.
week's show, right?
It
Like
brings you
well,
intensity
and just
too.
the energy, just the
Yeah.
energy at the line is crazy.
He's that inside out player. Like he's that guy that kind of gives you that different dimension. He can line up inside, he can line up outside, he can bring pressure both ways. And like who is that now, right? Like do they have that guy on the roster? Do they have to go get a guy like that? Will they go get a guy like that? Like do they feel the you know, by all accounts, like if there's a disconnect between McDermott and Bean, I think McDermott knows that they need a guy like Hoyt. Like
Yeah.
he was pretty upset in the press conference, like pretty
Yeah.
open about how big of a loss Hoyt was. So the
Oh, it's
question is
huge.
like, you know, is he going to go knock on the door to Bean and go, hey, you know, I know you were looking at a wide receiver or whatever you were planning on doing. Like, you got to go get me a guy like this. And here's some names. And I don't know what those names are. You guys probably know better than I do. But like, you know, is this going to be the point where someone kicks down Bean's door and goes, we're going for it. Go get a guy. Like, here's a list. Doesn't matter what it costs.
I think the pressure from other teams kind of force you into it because you look, the Eagles are super active. The Ravens, I don't know what they're doing because they're trading guys and trading for guys. So it seems like sort of a wash in Baltimore. But the Eagles are all in again, right? And they've not given up much. I'll be honest with you, right? In the grand scheme of things, they've not given up enough to complain about. But I guess first off, Hoyt weighed in at 310 pounds, right? 310 pounds. And on top of that, he played every game at Brown and he played every game for the Rams. This next game will be the first game that he misses to injury in the last 8 years, right? Like hyper durable guy. And that's what they talked about when he was signed, was he was a hyper durable guy. He misses games to suspension, but you know, he gets a game and a half in here and now he's going to miss his first game to injury in the last 8 years. Like obviously a big disappointment, but the clearly like, cause he wouldn't leave the bench, right? That guy's more than just a physical leader. Like that.
Yeah.
Obviously he's more than just a physical leader. I don't think you find those guys right now, right?
No,
like you
no,
can go
no.
looking, but you got $3.5 million in cap space. Like you don't have enough space to add a lot of those guys. And you're looking at just giving up picks to do it. Like there's no trading players. You don't have enough cap space to trade players. So, and the players that you're acquiring either have to be on expiring rookie deals that are basically exhausted, or a near veteran minimum deal, that that's what you're looking at. You're looking at guys on expiring contracts that are that were only $3 million when they signed, or expiring rookie contracts. Like, it's a real thin pool to depend on that. And, like Mar, I don't know where you are, but if you're and you got one bullet, is it wide receiver? Is it safety? Is it, did safety get proven to you last night that you don't need to do that? Are
One
you
of them
looking
did.
for that defensive piece?
I mean, I think they keep trying to work in Hancock more and more. And I think Bishop playing next to Poyer has been helping him out a little bit with the lingo in the communication and stuff like that, because we would see him in there and then we wouldn't see him in there. But Bishop always remained in there. So it was, okay, kid, here's what you got to do. And then, hey, Hancock's in there with you. What do I have to do? What am I doing? But it's like a lot of these things that are going on with McDermott, with as far as on the field goes, it's like they didn't even watch any film. Like, they're all confused. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what they're doing. It was like weird. But if I'm, because here's my problem though, Paul, with that. You said does Bean go out there? Does he take a receiver? Does he go with this? To resolve the Hoyt situation, I would put Bosa there. And I thought about it. I would put Bosa there, but you and I got very, very nervous. Remember back in the day when Mario Williams became a 3-4 outside
That's exactly
linebacker?
what I was going to say. Yeah, when they made Mario go backwards.
Yes. And it
that was
didn't
the end
work.
of the season.
And he tears his ACL. So
yeah.
with I would reluctantly, because it was a package thing. Like, how many plays did Hoyt play? Like a game?
24.
Like 10? You played 24 that game?
Mm-hmm. What?
All right.
Wait, this game?
Yeah.
24.
Well, you're going to do that mostly against the pass. Like, the one thing that we didn't see the Chiefs do because they couldn't do it was run. And that's what most teams have had success against the Bills this year, was running. So if I got one bullet in the gun and I got to shoot it, I'm probably going to go with a receiver. And it depends on who's available, what you're going to do, who needs to get rid of a player, what player would fit into this. And my question that I've asked you guys for 3 weeks now, is Brady going to be able to use him? That's the biggest question for me. Would Brady be able to use any kind of guy that you get?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why if it's one deal, to answer Paul's question, if it's one deal, I go defense, and I probably go along the defensive line, because you can't count on Oliver coming back. You don't know what the status of Daquan Jones is at this point. Like,
yeah.
But you know that you lost Michael Hoyt, and I think that's a pretty significant injury. Like, you're gonna be okay at linebacker because Shaq Thompson's gonna come back. Like, you're going to be, I think you're going to be okay at safety after watching what they did yesterday between, Cam Lewis played a lot of safety. He played a lot where he kind of dropped in like he was going to cover. And then kind of at the last minute, they backed him off into a safety position, and they brought Hancock down, or they brought Bishop down, and Cam kind of played that free safety role. I mean, they've been trying to make Cam Lewis a safety for the last 4 seasons, right? And it's like there's just injury after injury, so they have to keep putting him at cornerback. But they want him to play safety. Like, McDermott's been trying this for a long time. He finally gets an opportunity at it now. You're going to get Taron Johnson back, like whatever that means for this team. You're going to continue to give more snaps to Hairston, which means you can turn Trey White into more of a situational corner, which he probably is better at this year anyway, in terms of, what his usage is.
Or safety.
And, I mean, again, when it comes down to, like, player acquisition versus usage, as much as I don't like the guy, like, I trust McDermott to use a player that gets acquired at the trade deadline a hell of a lot more than I trust Joe Brady to use him. Like, I don't know if Joe Brady knows what to do with Jacoby Myers. I don't know if he knows what to do with Chris Olave. I do know that McDermott knows what to do with defensive players, though. I've seen it. I've watched it for the last 9 seasons, right? So, like, I'm okay with them pulling the trigger on defense, even though I've been beating the drum for a wide receiver for the last 4 weeks. But yeah, go get a defensive player. Go get McDermott what he needs, because that's what the defense looks like when McDermott has what he needs. So, like, go get the guy what he wants. Mm-hmm. I'm Team McDermott. Like, record this, because it doesn't happen very often at all. So, like, I'm Team Sean right now.
Not for now, and then we'll get into the situational stuff later.
Boy, a victory, Mr. Brightside, really changed your perspective that quickly.
Paul, you want to take care of this one?
Yeah. What about our DT rookie soon coming off IR? I don't think you can ever depend on a rookie, right? Like, I don't think who it is. It just simply doesn't matter. You lost Ed, right?
I mean,
and you're gonna have to
look pretty damn good though, man. Before he went out, like,
yeah.
So.
But the fact of the matter is, I don't think a rookie defensive tackle changes the paint job on the urgency at other positions, right? Like
Yeah.
what Hoyt brought just to
defensive
keep it in frame,
tackle
right?
coming off the IR doesn't
Yeah.
change the fact that you need a pass rusher, right? Like,
Right.
that doesn't fix that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
precisely. Yeah, and to just put it on the table, right? The thing about Hoyt that was so intriguing, and I know we only got to see it for a game and a half, it was the controlled chaos, right? And really, we haven't seen that since Lorenzo. Like, let's just be honest. It's been since Lorenzo Alexander, since we've seen
That
a
is
third
true.
down pass rush specialist, whatever that looks like. And
Well, I mean,
and it's
Von
fun.
Miller was that, right? Von Miller was a situational guy, right? Like,
Ugh.
I
Not
mean,
inside, really.
I don't remember Vaughn running across the face of the defensive line, like
that's
trying to get to the A gap. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So I saw
mean-
Hoyt do that.
I mean, if we do have to put somebody in that role, and like I think McDermott has a pretty good, like you said, Ryan, he's got a pretty good, idea of what the kind of defense that he wants. I think Bosa has the weight, and I think the football IQ of it to do it, and maybe Epineza is one guy, but he's like 40 pounds less than what Hoyt was.
I don't.
So
I
it'd
think,
be tough for him.
Yeah,
But he's an
I
expendable
feel like-
piece that you have.
I mean, I feel like if Bosa was that guy, like, why wasn't he that guy for the first 6 weeks, right? Like, why wait until Hoyt goes down for an injury to turn Bosa into that when he's your Hoyt replacement? Why not play him and replace him for the first 6 weeks and then move him back to his natural position when Hoyt comes back? I just don't know if I see it necessarily, because otherwise they would have done it when Hoyt was out for the first 6 weeks.
Because he has injury history. I would have left him out there too and not played him inside where Hoyt was. They tried circumventing it with different players, and it just didn't work because no one plays with
Well,
that
you
kind of
tried to have a
frenetic
full
energy
gamut
on the
of defensive
defense.
tackles where you didn't need a guy to go inside. You didn't need
Yeah,
one
that's
of your
true.
quote,
Well, I mean,
smaller
it's
guys
too-
to go inside.
The thing too is that it's situational. Like it's not one of those things that happens all the time. This run defense, which wasn't tested at all, is another thing that has me very, very concerned. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
I mean, look, like you had two guys across the defensive line that played more than 25 snaps, right? That was Rousseau and that was Bosa. Those are the only two guys on the defense or on the defensive
Yeah.
line that played more than 25 snaps. So,
But guys, Gabe Davis could be coming back.
yeah, don't forget that, a wide receiver, right? Like, who knows? But I think
Well,
I
Is he
think
taking
that's the other
Gilliam's
thing to keep
spot?
in mind.
And that doesn't matter. None of them can catch. So it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
but I mean, I think that's the important thing to keep in mind, right? Like, this defense as a whole, and McDermott has been this way for the last 9 years. There were three guys that played all defensive snaps yesterday. It was Christian Benford, it was Cam Lewis, and it was Cole Bishop. Those are the only three guys that played every single snap on defense.
I would have
It's
lost
terrifying.
money betting Cam Lewis had 100% snaps.
Yeah.
I would have lost money.
They went dime nickel every single down, or
Yeah.
every single defensive play. Terrell Bernard played 59 snaps out of 60, so he played 98%. After that,
I was going to say,
Dorian Williams had 13 snaps. Matt Milano had 33.
Yeah.
So they played a two linebacker set
Yeah.
on
Yep.
46 snaps, which was what 70% of their snaps. So
Yeah.
and that's the defense. You can argue this is the best game that the defense has played all season. So like that's the blueprint going forward. That's what Sean wants to do against these teams that can pass the ball really well.
Yeah, and I'll argue there the three linebacker sets were probably in the goal line situations,
Absolutely.
right, when they're heavy
Yep,
anyway.
absolutely.
So that's a loaded
But
stat.
in those
in
goal
that
line
respect.
situations, you still had Cam Lewis on the field, who's the smallest defensive player that you got. He's still on the field. So
Yep.
McDermott values him that much, right? Like
Mhm.
in this scheme. I think that's how Sean's going to solve this safety issue. And I think it's going to be Cam Lewis going from back playing center field, dropping into the box to guard a slot receiver. And mark my words, and we'll see. When Taron Johnson comes back, I think they're going to try and turn Cam Lewis into a full-time safety.
So
I think it's going to be Bishop and Lewis.
I just want to point out that
boy.
I had always seen Cam Lewis as Ensign Expendable, the guy in the red shirt in Star Trek that always is the first to die on all the away planet missions. Like I always saw him as Ensign Expendable. Because when you're looking at, I got to make a roster move. Well, Cam Lewis has been on this team. He's jumped up and down from the practice squad the last 28 years, right? Like it's just the way that it was. I do want to get to some answers externally, though, about what the Bills can do as far as answering, because we're talking about the defense, right? I think we could talk about the offense in a minute. there's two players for me from a defensive side that kind of fit like the McDermott. I don't want to really spend any money and I don't really want to give up any assets to get a player either mantra, right? And if I were Bean, the two players that I would be most interested in that would cost me nothing, I'm looking at Cleveland and Tennessee because they're in trouble, right? It's solely looking at the defense. I'm looking at probably Arden Key. Why? Because he's affordable. He's going in. You can afford him without having to do any more contract restructures. You could basically get him for nothing, because Tennessee's going to walk away from him. He's an older player, an expiring deal, or Joe Tryon from the Browns, because I think Tryon gives you that opportunity to get just a big, nasty body that can just create chaos across the defensive line. Again, in those third down specialist roles. Again, super affordable. The Browns are selling on him. Last year of his deal, he was brought in after he was drafted by Tampa. He's only got 1 year left on his deal at this point now with Cleveland. So those are the two players that those feel Bean-esque to me, right? And they're not players that people are going to love. Like, oh, we traded for Arden Key, and Google search history will now spike Arden Key in Buffalo. Like, no one's going to know who that guy is. And most people won't know Joe Tryon, but Joe Tryon's interesting, former first-round pick, right? So it plays in that comp formula that we love to talk about that Bean does such a poor job of. Joe Tryon kind of fits into the mold of, hey, let's maybe see if we could sneak a comp pick here sooner or later, right? Let's just play the game. So just pointing out those two names, those feel compromise enough for a Brandon Bean defensive trade. What?
You have to stop this. You have to stop this.
What did I do?
You have to stop this. What did you do? You're digging up Miles Jack is what you're doing.
I did love Joe Tryon.
The ghost of Christmas pet.
You
you wanted him over Rousseau so bad.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
And this is what, because you know what? Where's he from? I don't even have to look. He's from Washington, because that's who Paul loves at the draft. He loves these Washington guys.
Love him.
But you're 100% right. He's just rotting away in Cleveland. Like, I don't even know why he's there.
He's not even playing snaps. Like, I don't even think he's played 40 snaps all season.
That's an injury issue then, man. They're just not making him. You know what I mean? I think it's 100% injury issue, because you can't start on that team. Something's wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good defense, though. Like the Cleveland Browns aren't a great defense.
No. But if you can't get any kind of snaps into that defense, you know what I mean? Like, what could it have been? I mean, Ryan, you even said it yesterday. This kid was playing next to Vita Vea his whole career. That could have been why he had any kind of success in Tampa anyway. You know what I mean? You know, we don't know, but he is that type of guy that you could get for a very, very, very cheap price. And, you know, okay, you know, what do you want to throw us?
Joe,
what do you think, a sixth?
Tryon had 2 snaps yesterday, just in case.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he's not playing at all. You get him for a conditional 7th. Like, at that point, what's the difference?
Yeah, true.
You know, like, Cleveland is going to save money trading him at this point. Like,
Landon Jackson as well. Spin put it in the comments. He said, "Is Landon Jackson warming up to you all yet?"
He's got to be active.
Yeah,
Landon Jackson's not active. Like, I was actually going to bring Landon Jackson up, so I'm glad Spin went there.
Yeah,
like if you let's just imagine in a world you lose Rousseau, right? Is Landon Jackson your answer?
He's
probably not.
No, he's
probably not. Right. So why are we continuing to play? Why are we continuing to have the Landon Jackson inactive every game thing? Right. Like, at what point is he actually valuable on your roster?
Well, he'll be active next week.
Yeah, probably now.
Because
no Hoyt. Yeah,
that's true.
But he's not going to play that role.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
with some of these guys, they're going to be coming back.
Another prime example of, like, what are we doing keeping our draft picks? Like, just go trade them. Because it's not like you're doing anything with them,
right?
Yeah, it's going to be that, because that's what Roseman is doing the most of. I mean, if you look, if you go to Over the Cap and you look at the top 10 contracts for the Eagles, like, how many of those have at least 4 years of voided deals on it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, but they do a good. I mean, you know, again, like the Eagles, they still have 8 draft picks. Like, all the moves that they've made, they've still got 8 draft picks next year. And one of the reasons is because they're not afraid to take a swing on a first-round pick. Reclamation project doesn't work out. We'll just take that 3rd-round comp pick.
They traded for 2 running backs they didn't need.
Yeah.
You know, like they traded for 2 running backs they don't need. All right, let's debate real quick. Steve Hampton puts it in a rare good idea. We'll debate that. Heard on WGR is putting Dorian Williams in the Hoyt role. I think he's too light. There's like a 40, 50-pound difference between Dorian Williams and Michael Hoyt.
235 pounds. Like
Yeah, Michael Hoyt was 310. Yeah, like I don't think that's I understand why somebody might think that, but if the person who said it has ever stood between those two individuals and still said it, then they're bad at sports commentating.
Let's just put it this way, guys. Dorian Williams is about 6 feet. If he's 235, that's really heavy. I don't think he's that much. I think he's like,
I mean, he's 6'2". He's taller than you think he is.
He's 6'2". Well, I think he's around that Matt Milano size. Now, I'll take you back to another linebacker that they tried to blitz up the A gap. Tremaine Edmonds, who was 6'5", 255. He couldn't get through.
He couldn't get there.
How the hell is Dorian Williams? The fact is, Hoyt was 310 and can move like a linebacker. That's why he was so coveted and valued in there, and he could do all that stuff. And his energy on the line was crazy. That's why he could handle himself if he got pushed back. Williams will get swallowed up, and you're just losing a player at that point. Like you're trying to blitz him or do something. You want to do it off the edge? You want to do a twist off the edge or do something like that? But you got to remember, this is only in rare packages that you're going to be running with throughout the game and stuff like that. Like,
I'm actually surprised that came from Eric Wood. Like,
was it Wood?
There's no way. Yeah. There's just.
Well, I mean, he's trying to look internally for guys that are.
I get it, but Wood
really
Wood
fast
is very pro
and
Buffalo. Like I'll just be honest with you, right? Wood and Chris Brown are both going to paint. They're going to paint whatever wall rose colored, right? Like that's just what's going to happen. Like it's very, very pro Buffalo, and I don't. And he shouldn't have to be critical of the team. So let me just be clear. He shouldn't have to be critical. He is seen in a lot of people's eyes as an ambassador of the Bills. He should have to look at that positively. There's no way Dorian Williams could play that role, and I'm kind of surprised that he would say something. Like that.
I mean, like let's put it into context for people, because I think again, like size, people don't really recognize like how big certain guys are. Like, Michael Hoyt is listed, and Mario, you can talk about like what listed versus actual means. He's listed at 6'4", 310, right?
Yeah.
Like 6'4", 310 is a really big defensive end.
Yes.
And you're playing him at a linebacker position, and he's playing it really well, right? Like, So, I mean, it's not just a guy you can just go say, well, okay, just plug him in there, right?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
if you're gonna make a comp, like as an example, like AJ Epinesa is 6'6", 260. So even Epinesa is 50 pounds lighter than Hoyt is. And he's your anchor defensive end when he comes in. Like, this is not a... Like,
Hoyt standing next to...
You just don't find Michael Hoyts.
No. That's what I'm saying. It's like Hoyt standing next to Epinesa is like me standing next to Paul. Like, there's a noticeable width difference.
Height's the same, but you can... Yeah, exactly. Like, one
noticeable width
to walk around than the other.
Yeah. You're not gonna ask Paul to blitz the A gap. You know what I mean? it's one of those things. Like, just you're not gonna. Could Epinesa do it? Yeah, but it's something he's never done before. Hoyt made a living off of that. Like he's
that was his role.
He's dropping back into coverage. He's faking blitzes. He's calling the guys out. He has just the only thing I could describe it as I said before, is phonetic energy that you had on the defensive line, and now you don't have that anymore. Albeit in a situational capacity.
Point, Mario, like Bosa's probably the closest.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Bosa's listed at 280. So Bosa still weighs 30 pounds less than Hoyt does. Like, guys, like context, right? Like context matters in these conversations. Like, I get it. Dorian Williams is quick, and like maybe they do something different with him to try to offset the loss of Hoyt. But it's not a, hey, Dorian, go line up over the center and see if you can like create havoc in the middle. Like that's not going to be what he does. Like, and I think McDermott, again, say what I want about the guy, but like. McDermott knows well enough on his defense that he's not going to make that type of move.
Donnie comes in. Donnie, she's a one tech, by the way. She'd be
340,
6'4", 340. That's a one tech. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I saw somebody who was it? Hoffman's mentioned Malik Collins, 6'2", 310. I could see why he was brought up. right? Like Malik Collins is a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
So like let's just keep that in mind, right?
Yeah.
310 isn't 310 is it might be the same on the scale, but it is not the same across
No.
somebody's body.
No.
Like 310 looks different on a lot of different people.
Because I think I told Ryan that the other day. I said I'm the size of Epineza, but you're not going to confuse us in a room. Like you're really not. We're the same size, but you're not going to confuse us in a room. You're going to know who's Epineza, who's the National Football League player, and who's the washed up Division III quarterback. You're going to know who that is. But yeah, I mean, it's things that can we get to McDermott's clock management still?
Ooh,
oh my God.
I've been pro McDermott this whole show. Can we please, shift gears? I'm not doing that. My wrist hurts.
I
have fun.
From bird watching?
Yeah, it must be bird watching.
I have elbow. I have tendonitis in my elbow. I have tennis elbow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. So at the game, I just want to point out at the game, for those of you who haven't been to a Bills game, for those of you who haven't been to a Bills game in a while, it is more frustrating watching Sean McDermott walk 20 yards to an official to call a timeout.
He sprinted 20 yards.
He did.
Dead run.
On 4th and 17, he ran 20 yards to call a timeout.
Can I just, Paul? That was first of all, that was glorious. Second of all, everyone in our section was sitting down when that play before that play happened.
Yeah.
These 3 imbeciles from a podcast
all of us
jump out of our seats.
Like, no,
don't you freaking do it.
Don't do it.
Everyone's like, what's happening? Is there a fire? Like, what the hell just happened? Like, don't you freaking do it, Sean. He fucking did it again. I couldn't believe you know what?
Yeah,
he called 3.
Yeah, and that's
like,
what happened.
Aside from when you have to stop the clock, the other team has the ball, you have to get the ball back. And you're stopping the clock to try to stop them to get the ball back. I don't really, he called a timeout before in a field goal.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was just hard all the way around. Like there wasn't a single time where Sean called a timeout and I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
No, there wasn't. It was like, okay, if your superstar quarterback needs a timeout, it wouldn't be nice to have 2 at least on a drive that's a minute or less. You'd like to have 2 timeouts, one for the field goal unit, one in case you get tackled in bounds, or have the option to run plays that go toward the middle of the field. And he doesn't he puts it on the freaking Kodak nonsense that he does.
Yeah.
I can't. And Ryan, the fact that you're still quiet is making me nervous actually at this point.
I'm just like,
because you grew these 2 animals. It's your fault.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, and then they converted on like all the plays, right? Like,
yeah.
It's not like it worked on anything. The only one that it worked on was, did they call a timeout before the Bishop hit on Kelsey that broke up that touchdown pass? I don't remember where it fell. I think he called a timeout like at some point in that whole segment. But
yeah, he may have. But I mean, if you don't want to spoil
he used 2 timeouts before 2 of their 4th down conversions, and both of the ones that they called the timeouts on, they converted.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to sour on McDermott, at least answer me this, Ryan. Why did they go for a 51-yard field goal?
I was fine with that. I was fine.
Why?
With that, right? Because
no,
I'm fine with that because
that was dumb.
If you hit it, it's game over. And
your 50-year-old kicker was on the IR with freaking calf all week.
But Mario, like, you're on your 3rd punter of the season, right? The guy's not very good. Like, and if the ball goes into the end zone and it's a touchback, it's a net gain of 15 yards from where you kick the field goal.
Okay,
so, like,
I'm fine with that.
So just like 15 yards, if you think is going to make a difference when it's Patrick Mahomes, like if you're not.
Like, no, what's going to make a difference is the punt, the snap, and the punt itself is going to burn 4 or 5 more seconds, depending on if it rolls or bounces.
I mean, but if it rolls or bounces going in the end zone, they're going to blow it dead, right? Like, I understand where you're coming from, just from like a time perspective, but I mean, they still got to go. They still got to go the length of at half to 2/3 the length of the field, and they still have to score a touchdown. So like,
yeah, but I don't want to give them the ball at midfield.
But I'd rather give them the ball back down 2 scores. Like, I mean, you can kind of nitpick that, right? Like, to me, that's not an egregious situation. Like,
I
if
think
he
the
punts it, I'm
context
fine
there.
with it. If he kicks the field goal, I'm fine with it. Like,
But there's some context, right? That I'm on Mario's side here. The context around that isn't the same for me because he was on the injury report with a calf all week, right? So that's strike one for me, right? Is I'm kind of iffy on that already. And two is you should like the third down play to get there just felt like we're just going to lay down and this is what we're going to do, right? Like that to me that's where it got me, right? Like that's a play where I want to see Josh roll, and then if we're going to do what we're going to do, Josh take the like okay, just let Josh take care of it, right?
I think
And if he gets sacked for a loss, it's what's the difference between 51 and 53 at that point, right? Like
it's 2 yards.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it
like,
would have hit the crossbar either way, right? Like in reality.
Injury, like when we talk about the calf injury, and like we've seen this before, right? Like when it comes to a kicker who's on an injury report, like you don't think about that mid game. Like you're not thinking about, oh, he had a calf injury all week. You think about how's he been kicking in warmups, and he's drilling everything in warmups. Like, and Mario, you know, from a game in the game perspective, like how often does a coach just go to a kicker and say, how do you feel about this? Like where's your line, right? Like where's your line, where's your hash mark? Like those are the only two things those are the only 2 times that they will trust the kicker in any situation. So they went to, I'm sure at some point there was a conversation had with Prater where the question was, at what point are you not comfortable with a kick, and at what hash do you want it if we can control the hash situation? And if Prater said, I'm good from 55 or in, like, go with your guy, try to put it away. You end the game, and we're not having this conversation. If he hits it, we're not having this conversation. Right?
We talk about the game within a game, Ryan, all the time. You and I know we do the Brockport games on Saturdays. We watch the Bills. We talk about the Bills all the time. Here's my problem with that. You say you go up 2 scores and you ice the game, and I understand that you want to do that. The problem that I have is that the demeanor of the offense and the play calling prior to that field goal was not one of, let's put this away, let's get 3 and knock it down and put it away. It was, let me kill some clock. If we get it, what the,
so your
Joey from Friends.
The decision to kick. Your issue was the decision.
It didn't match the kick. Like, to me, it matched. You're going to punt it to try to pin him deep and make him go the whole field. Okay, I understand that. That's fine. But the demeanor and the play calling before that wasn't of, hey, let's get a kill shot of a field goal. They didn't push anything. They didn't do anything with like aggressiveness on that drive. When they got the first down, then they kind of just threw it in neutral and said, I'm going to snap it with 5 seconds left.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just go back to, like, it wasn't Tyler Bass, right? It's a kicker he's missed 1 field goal and 1 extra point up until that point in the season. And like Spin said in the chat, you're talking about a guy who owns the NFL record for most field goals.
Yeah, but he's not 27 anymore.
But listen, like, kicker's not, like, was there any indication to you at this point in the season, Mario, if I said to you going into the game, Prater's going to have a 51-yarder with a chance to win it, scenario regardless, you're going to be in a position where Prater's going to have a 51-yard field goal to win you the football game. You take that against Kansas City. Going into that football game, you would have taken that 9
Am I
times
down
out of
2?
10. Doesn't matter. That's not
no,
what I'm saying.
It does matter.
Mario,
the situation matters, dude.
It doesn't matter. The situation doesn't matter.
Is it a 17-yarder?
The kick is to win. No, it's a 51-yarder to win the football game. Like, do you take it or not?
No, I don't.
So if you had you had Matt Prater, like,
context matters, right?
It's not context matters, man. It's a 51-yard field goal to win the game. Like, you're creating context that doesn't exist. Like, in a vacuum.
How am I creating context? It was the flow of the game. He has no feel for the game. McDermott has no feel for what's going on. You ask a 47-year-old kicker.
Right, like that's a different conversation. We can talk about whether he's got control of the game, whether he can manage his clock, whether he can do situational football, right? There were 2 decisions that I think people have been a little critical of him on. One was the 4th and 2 that he went for it and they didn't get it. I'm fine with that play call. The other was the field goal at the end of the game. I'm fine with that play call. Like, because again, if he hits it, we're not having this conversation, right? If
We still have it.
if he doesn't kick the field goal, he punts it, and your third punter on this team since the preseason puts it into the end zone, and Mahomes, goes down the field and scores a touchdown. Everyone's going, "Why didn't you kick the field goal? Like, what are we doing here?" Well, don't give him the ball back with a
It's
chance
the
to
right
tie it.
play.
Why are we doing this?
It's literally the right play.
I mean, I disagree because Sean McDermott has through fault of his own, very often he's been a trust the analytics guy. 4th and 2, go. 4th and 3 or more, punt. I think I would wager a bet, and I didn't look it up, so you can do the research if you want, or maybe Paul's already done it. I would wager a bet that the analytics said kick that field goal.
If he was not up a touchdown, he's not kicking it. If he was up 6 or less, he's not kicking it. Yeah, he's not kicking it. He's punting it.
I probably agree with that, but I also think, to your point, it's different play calling up until that point, right?
It was vastly different play. He was going like he was just going to just kick it away because there was no aggressiveness in the offensive play.
You put the game in the hands of your running back, which you had done for a majority of the game. And with the game on the line, this is typically a time where you see Josh just take over. And in the final 3 plays that you get a first down and the game's over anyway, you take the game out of your quarterback's hands and you put it in somebody else's. That's a coaching decision. We can complain about the kick all we want. The fact of the matter is, you get a first down, the game's over anyway. This isn't a field goal or bust situation. This is get a first down and the game's over. Yeah. So to me, I think that adds into the frustration with kicking a field goal that you ultimately missed there,
right?
Because you put yourself in a situation that you just didn't need to be.
And I think the situation that what needs to be, and I don't know if there's a way to figure this out. I don't know if there's anybody that's inside or that has it. Was the conversation that was had on the sideline between McDermott and Brady? Was it just go win the game?
Let's be conservative.
Or was it? No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was let's be conservative. If it's let's be conservative, he punts it. Sean McDermott 4 years ago would have punted that all day, and I would have lamented him for playing it safe, playing not to lose the football game, playing.
He's up by 7 though, right?
Trusted his defense when he shouldn't have trusted him, like all the things, right? Like, so if Sean said, "Hey Joe, get us into field goal range," like Brady did his job. Like we can discuss whether that was the right decision or not.
Yeah.
But in that moment, 4th and 7, 51-yard field goal with Matt Prater with an opportunity to ice the football game. I kick that 10 times out of 10, and I do it 4 times on Sunday. I take that every single time. If I get a field goal opportunity to beat the Chiefs and it's inside of 55 yards and I got Matt Prater kicking it, I'm taking it. End of story. Game over.
I feel like the comment about going to Prater and asking him his level of comfort is not just speculation, but Prater is like Uncle Rico at this point. Like
but Paul,
he does it just he's living on borrowed time.
You're talking about something that we know they do. Yeah. We know they talk to the kickers, and we know they ask them what their comfort level is. Yeah. We know it. Like it's been talked about for decades in the NFL. Yeah. Like where are you good from? What end of the field? Like what hash mark? They know.
I don't even think he has that much communication with Prater, to be honest with you.
He's probably not asking Prater.
His defense doesn't even know what the hell they're doing. How's he know what Prater feels?
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I think if like Mario, AFC title game with a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Don't talk context.
Why? Because it freaking matters, though.
Because at the end of the day, it didn't work. Let's say they tried to go aggressive. It didn't work. Allen misses a pass. It's 4th and 7, 51-yard field goal, chance to go to the AFC title game. Are you kicking it?
What's the score?
Do you take that going into the game?
What's the score?
No, it's not. Mario, at the beginning of the game, I'm going to say fast forward, Mario. Situation doesn't matter. They're in a position to kick a field goal to go to the Super Bowl. Matt Prater's the one that's got to do it from 51 yards.
Are they down 2?
Mario?
I'm telling you.
Super Bowl, buddy. Field goal sends them to the Super Bowl. Play the game.
No, I'm not playing this game because I'm like, are they down 2? Are they down 7? Why would I kick a field goal?
They're down 2.
They're down 2? Mm-hmm. Where's he kicking it from?
51 yards.
51-yarder down 2? You have to.
Okay.
Sunday, you didn't have to kick it.
Sure you did.
No.
Why not? You had a chance to win the game.
Your team Your team put up
Because
404 yards on offense.
Your option is put the game away or put the ball in the hands of Patrick Mahomes and see if he can go tie it.
Do you
Like,
trust
those are your two
17 or
options.
15
I'm
more?
going for the game. I'm going for the game, man.
Do you trust 17 or 15 more?
17 got you there. 17
But
got you
seven-
to 4th
yeah,
and
but
7
you-
with a
yeah,
chance
but
to win
seven-
it with a
Yeah, but
51
now you're
yard.
handing it over to 15. I'm talking about Prater 15.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're on 15.
Like I
Yeah,
understand.
right.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
Let's
you can
not
lament-
pretend we knew Matt Prater's number before the game, okay?
Yeah.
'Cause none of us knew. None of us knew in the car. Let's
Yeah,
not
I mean,
pretend.
I just think, yeah, again, I mean, spins brings it up too, right? Like, there's also the opportunity that Kansas City just goes for 2.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, man, I'm kicking the field goal.
I mean, the
kicking field goal,
context,
I'm
the
trying
game
to
within
end
a
the
game
right
and
there.
stuff. We saw how that defense was popping Mahomes around. So maybe he just
Sure, and
felt
we also
confident.
saw Kansas
Maybe
City
he felt
just right
confident he
before
was
that
up
convert
7.
his 2-point conversion. Like,
Yeah, they converted
we seen
the other 2-point. Yeah, so he made it felt confident kicking it up 7. He's like, well, if they score, at least if they score 6, we could do something. You know what I mean? But like, I'm not giving them the ball any closer to my goal line if I can help it.
The Chiefs were 3-13 on third downs, and those 3 third downs were big yardage third downs.
Yeah.
They're big yardage third downs. So the explosiveness from the Chiefs offense was there, right? Enough to scare you to the fact that they could will themselves down the football field. Again, I'm going to counter. I don't love the field goal there, but I don't love the field goal because I don't love the 3 plays you called before it. Right? Like that's
fair.
just where I think
We
that's
can
probably the
agree
most
on
fair
that, I think.
argument here out of everything. Right?
Yeah, I think
Like,
we can agree on the plays leading up to it. We're not ideal of a killer instinct going for the game. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like the Bills had 404 yards of total offense and were complaining they didn't get 6 more to get the first down. Right? Like that's where we are. Right?
Mhm.
They get a first down, game's over. So but again, I don't love the timeout management before that.
Oh my God, no.
You call a timeout after an injury timeout, like
That was stupid.
that.
Like, what are
that's
you doing?
frustrating. Like it's just that stuff, right? It's just that stuff because when you're looking at it, you miss the kick, and then all of a sudden you're looking at the scoreboard, and now like, oh man, I feel like I've seen this before.
I wish I would have had
Right.
another one in my back pocket. That would have been nice.
Yeah, I mean,
See,
just
Paul's
from a matchup
asleep.
perspective.
Paul
Yeah.
Berg's roasting you in the comments.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
all right.
It's fine.
Well, I think that Paul. I think that
one
wraps
more
up our
thing.
evening. What's up?
Do you guys actually like Mario, Ryan? Mario, I'll go to you first. Do you think the Bills actually make a trade to better this football team after what you just saw on Sunday? Do you think the Buffalo actually pulls the trigger to give up a future asset? Because I've got one really important thing that I want to sneak into the end of this episode, but it kind of depends on what you guys say.
You know what? We talked about it at the game. We talked about it before. We talked about it last week. If they were to win this game, would that be proof enough that they would say, "Oh no, we're good. We don't need anybody"? I think they do make a trade, but I think it's going to be for what you said a little bit earlier in the show. It's going to be, oh, who's that guy? Let me look him up. Oh, it's a guy that his father played Major League Baseball and he wrestled and he was just like this former 2nd-round pick that got lost in the shuffle or something like that. I don't know. I'm just pulling stuff out, but it's going to be some guy that nobody really thought of, and it's going to be somebody that they get in here, and it is what it is. I don't know. Ryan, what do you think?
I don't know. What was the question again? Because you talked a lot.
Oh, yeah, thanks a lot. So the question was, do we think the Bills actually make a trade? Yes or no? Zero?
There's no indication that Bean has any intention of making a trade. Like, I just don't see it happening. I think they value their draft picks too much for some reason. I think that they'll convince themselves internally that they just beat the Chiefs. So Mario, you mentioned it, right? Like we talked about it before the game. Like a win here, does that convince them that they're good? And like they don't need to make a move. Maybe the Hoyt injury changes that a little bit. But again, like
Absolutely.
Hoyts aren't just out there, right? Like it's not like you can just go get a guy and replace Michael Hoyt. So I don't think they make a move. And right, wrong, or indifferent, like I think this is a team that you got going forward, and you're gonna dance with the one that brung you in Josh Allen as long as you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to Spin's point here, Bean has made trades the last. Actually, I think you're forgetting Naeem Hines Is that name? Hines
Naeem
was a
Hines?
trade for Nade.
Was he?
But yeah,
I thought they got him
Yeah.
before the draft.
They did. Yeah, they did. But the point is that the Bills
Oh.
have made trades for players recently to try to address needs.
Yes.
So Rasul and Cooper were both needs at the deadline. Yeah, I mean, it says, history says that Bean will do at least something. Here's where I cautiously say I don't think so this year. And the reason I say I don't think so this year is because right now you're looking up at the Patriots, right? Like they're up on you. You gotta get back in with them later, where you can hopefully claw back that tiebreaker that you're losing to them and kind of catch up there. But the reality is you're looking up at the Patriots right now. And I want to point out that one of the key factors of the NFL salary cap is you get to roll over cap space, and there's no limit to the amount of cap space you can roll over. And the New England Patriots have $50 million in cap space right now. That will roll over to next year. They will not be making any trades for high dollar players to get them closer to their window. They think they're doing a great job right now, and Vrabel's not going to bring in any external sources that's going to disrupt that right now. They're already a young team. They've got tons of cap space. I think Bean is afraid of that. I think Bean's scared of the fact that the Patriots have more money than they will know what to do with next year, and it will be very easy for them to spend and acquire. So what's the best thing for him to do is to keep those draft assets close, because they're cost controllable. You know what they are, and he has a tendency to try and hoard those picks. So I actually don't think Bean makes a deal, and I think one of the reasons is because he's actually a little afraid of the Patriots here. They're just going to have way too much financial freedom in the free agent market next year. While they may not always be the best team at drafting, they're going to leverage dollars over everything else. And the only thing Bean will have to counter is the draft picks that you're going to give up for a player for this year. He's just too pragmatic for that and just too conservative. So to me, I think that's really what we're looking at. I think there's a little bit more dynamic there than what we're probably looking at right now. If you're looking inside your division, you're not afraid of Miami, you're not afraid of the Jets, but that dollar sign next to the Patriots against a team that you're currently behind in the standings. And honestly, they're a well-coached football team doing it with lesser paid players. Imagine what happens once they start paying some guys to actually show up and play football in New England. The best way for Buffalo to try and counter that is with their draft pick. So that, to me, that's kind of the counterpoint there. So I'm hesitant that Bean does anything more than give up a 6th or 7th round pick. If it's anything more than that, I just don't think it happens. So that's just my take.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for us. Hashtag Nation. Remember to follow all the socials: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Trade a first for Diggs, Corey. I don't know if that would work. Make sure that you hit up the Mr. Rogers Homes in the description of the video. We're going to be here next week for the post game as well at 9:00. Make sure you guys check out all of our content all week. Paul's been grinding on the shorts.
I took today off. I'm not gonna lie. I took yesterday and today off.
No, that's fine. So you guys, good luck, go Bills, and we're out of here. See ya.
Hello, fellow Bills fans. Sean Rogers, Realtor and lead of the Mr. Rogers Homes team. Did you know that real estate is one of the best ways to build wealth, and right now is one of the best times to own an investment property in Arizona? Please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions so we can take the next step to your financial freedom here in the Valley of the Sun, utilizing real estate. As always, God bless America and go Buffalo!